Hi guys, today I've got a video that shows me painting for the first time ever fully in gouache, and I know that I've used gouache in the past but not on a full painting, so yeah, it's a little bit exciting. I have been wanting to try something a little bit more opaque for a while now, and obviously gouache is the next sort of step after watercolour into something more opaque, because acrylic paint, I never got on with acrylic paint, so yeah, so for those that don't know, gouache is kind of like in between acrylic and watercolour. It's water activated, and it's also, to a point, you can sort of revive it, unlike acrylic paint, which kind of dries and that's it. It also cleans off palettes really well, unlike acrylic. Like with acrylic paint, sometimes it's there forever and it's a nightmare. But yeah, gouache is really nice, and I was using Winsor & Newton's designer's gouache, and I decided to use something else that was brand new, and that is an Ampersand Aquabord, and I have been dying to try these for ages. I actually bought one a while back and never used it and lost it because I was so like worried about using it, but I'll grab this one now. And basically it's a clay covered like tile board thing, and this is what it sounds like. And you can paint watercolor on this. That's what it's for. It's incredible. So obviously there's no stretching. It's solid. It's absolutely solid, and it's a clay covering on the top rather than paper, but it looks and feels like watercolor paper. It's so cool. They're not the cheapest things in the world, but I think for finished paintings for sale, if that's where you're at with your artwork, even just trying out, like I never tell anyone that things are restricted, but yeah, so yeah, it's nice for a finished painting that you would be selling, because you wouldn't have to frame it. I mean, you could still frame it, but you wouldn't have to. You could just have it like it is. It's a really nice little finish on that. So I recommend it for anyone who is selling their artwork. There are different types of them, but they are quite pricey. So that's another reason. If you are actually making money back on your original paintings, like you'll cover the cost, but they are quite pricey just for practicing on, I find. But they're still really beautiful, so if you get the chance to try one, I really recommend it. So something I've learned with gouache is obviously its opacity, and I did not like this yellow background. Oh, I should mention, I'm painting a 90s version of Pearl. I'm cosplaying a 90s version of Peridot at London Comic Con in May, which is like 4 weeks away, panic! And so I was designing a Pearl as well, and I think my friend Danny is going to cosplay her! But yeah, I really like 90s style stuff, and I'm glad to see that it's coming back in fashion at last. I was a 90s kid. I was born in 1989, but right at the end of it, so like I had the full decade. Yeah, so gouache is quite forgiving if you let it dry. Whereas with watercolour, it's forgiving if you wet it. If you've put it down and very quickly wet it and you made a mistake, you can lift it off. With gouache, you got to be patient, you got to let it dry, and then you're like, I can finally paint over it. So I didn't like the yellow background, and I regretted it, and you could see that I was trying to lift the colour off like watercolour. I was like, oh, that's not going to work this time. So I dried it off and waited, and the patience that I had to develop with gouache was kind of difficult, I must say. I'm not very patient when it comes to painting anyway. I'm used to digital, and that's how I taught myself artwork, was through digital painting, and so obviously that's instant, there's no drying time. So every time I have to wait for drying, I'm kind of a little bit impatient. A lot of people have recommended hand dryers to me, like not the hand dryers that you get in like a public bathroom. I mean like the heat tools that you can get from Hobbycraft, and I will look into those, but I don't want to spend too much because I won't be able to take it to Canada with me. It'll be a different plug. So yeah, I I outlined her skin, and that was the only thing I outlined, and I really like the lineless effect I could get with gouache, and it's so opaque and it's beautiful, and I will be doing a lot more of this, trust me. I've wanted to break into gouache a bit more for a long time now, and I've never really used it in this fashion, which is why I call it my first full gouache painting. And it's really incredible. It's got the look and appeal of acrylic, but the versatility of watercolor, and that's just phenomenal. And I'm going to treat it the same way that I would like to eventually be able to oil paint. I want to put down like lots of layers and mess around with colour and mix colour and have fun with it. So I'm going to attempt like more wet mixing with this, like Bob Ross style. Although I understand that they are very different paints, so it's all about experimentation with new stuff. That's the thing, you just gotta experiment. And also maybe paint something you feel comfortable painting. Obviously I draw a lot of Pearl. She's kind of, if I was to put it in like a sort of hipster term, she's kind of like my muse. She's what I draw when I need to like warm up, or if I just want to doodle, I like to draw her, which I think is nice. But yeah, so like I said, I used Winsor Newton Designer's Gouache and then a little bit of the De La Rowney Designer's Gouache. Oh, I apologise for you. I'm very tired. So the only watercolour I used was a tiny bit of Davies Grey, which is a professional half pan that I've got. And I just couldn't get what I wanted for her skin colour, because I don't have anything like black or anything to make like a full proper grey with in gouache. And the only other one I had was I do actually have like a warm grey gouache, but I wanted it to be more blue, and I was kind of like, I know I can get this colour spot on if I use watercolour. So there's a tiny bit of watercolour. But it is like 99.9% gouache. Yeah, and letting it dry and then overlaying it is also a pain, because like I would add too much water and then it'd have to dry longer. But this is the start of something new for me, so I'm really excited. But I'll leave it here for you guys to enjoy the rest of the video. If you've got any questions, put them below. I'm very new to this, so go nicely on me. And let me know if you're trying anything new, and what medium that you're trying that's brand new, or if you've started anything new recently. I'd love to know. So thanks a lot. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and share it. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really like you to subscribe, because I'm nearly at 100k and I'm doing some really big giveaways and stuff for that. So I hope you guys like this. Leave a comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.